Hi, folks. I recently met up with my friend Jon Humberd, who told me an incredible story of how he became a Tennessee STOL pilot. I think you'll want to hear it directly from Jon, so stick around. We'll be right back after this short message. Hi, folks. We're here at Oshkosh with Jon Humberd, and he's kindly agreed to be able to tell me a little bit about himself and about his airplane. So we're going to ask Jon a couple of questions and let him take it from there. So, Jon, what got you into this sport? I mean, what got you into flying?
At all? Oh gosh, that goes way back. You know, I like a lot of people. I was just too small to remember probably, but I was outside, you know, from day one that I could crawl outside looking at airplanes fly over.
Sure.
What really drew me into it was crop dusters. In East Tennessee, through the valley there, we used to have crop dusters there several times a year doing crops, and some of our own crops for that matter.
Sure.
So we had it was biplanes at the time doing that. And I mean, that draw of seeing that biplane spray and then go up and make a short turn and go down and spray, it's just that's just a dream.
Yes, exactly. Did you ever build like any model planes or anything like that when you were young?
Yeah, I built a few models, several models, and then I went from there into the RC stuff, which is another way I think a lot of pilots kind of go that direction. They do the RC and they get the sickness for wanting to fly, I guess you can call it. Yeah, we get hooked and it goes from there.
Very good. So then after that, I mean, if you got the sickness to fly, what was your first flying experience?
That's a good one. You know, I'm not sure. I flew commercial a time or two, just trips with the family and stuff, and I always had to have the window seater. I just wasn't happy the whole trip.
Right. Want to be able to look out and see what was going on.
And of course, as I got older, I wanted to be in the front and be the one doing the controls. So I don't really like to fly commercial that much anymore. But first flight, that's a good question. There are a couple of Cessnas around that I'm sure it had to be some of the family or something like that.
Right.
And I would have been very small.
Yeah.
Took some of the tours, in helicopters and that kind of stuff when we went on vacation. So some of that probably would have been the first that I may not remember which was which.
Now, how about your first flight instruction? And when you said, "Okay, now I'm going to be pilot in command,"
that's a good one. Well, it would have been ultralight stuff. So I bought a Canadian Laser built back in 78 or 79. The little twin engines, one seater. Talked to the guy that used to be a dealer for those, and he gave me pointers and all that kind of stuff. And of course, I had a feel for what I thought it should do by the RC stuff.
Right.
So got it. My wife loves this story. I got it out in the field and was playing around, getting a feel for what the controls did on the ground, and gave it a little more throttle. And the next thing you know, it's off the ground. I'm like, oh crap.
Whoa, now what?
Yeah, now what? So I got off the ground quickly and then spent the next 30, 45 minutes trying to figure out how to get it back on the ground.
Golly, yeah.
And I did. There's times you're looking over your shoulder at the gas tank going, man, it's what goes up must come down.
Exactly. You want it to come down gently.
It came down gently after a few passes there in the wheat field at the time. We just mowed, or I forget now, but it was bare at the time. So that was first flight as PIC. I did first flight instruction in Collegedale, Tennessee. Flight instructor is there with the Cessna. Once I got my private pilot, right after I got my private pilot, I started building this one. So I guess I just kept graduating into this one, and this is this is where I love to be. This really fits. Yeah. They say pilots have to pick their mission, and this one really fits my mission: the low and slow and just having fun.
Well, I think people who have seen you fly this airplane would certainly agree with you, and I think that you're like one with this airplane. I mean, you know just what it's going to do whenever you want it to do it, and it's pretty special. Now, did you have help building this, or how did you get started? And it's a pretty good project to build this airplane.
It is a good project, and hats off to Zenith on this design. Chris Hines and Sebastian and brothers and everything have really pushed this to be an incredibly simple set up with all the CNC final hole size. You go in, you can put Clecos in it, and then deburr stuff and just start riveting. So it's, but to answer your question, I did pretty much all of it myself. I had just a little bit of help with family and a close friend a time or two, but 95% or better of it was just right there, hands-on in the shop. So,
gosh, well, what did it make you feel when you got it done? You had to feel like on cloud nine.
You do. That first flight. Well, now you absolutely do. That feeling's just you're past cloud nine. I mean, you're looking down at the clouds. My first flight, of course, I have the 325-foot strip there on the farm. So my very first flight was
from the 325.
From the 325.
Wow.
So that was a little bit puckering, but you know, when you build it and you've been through it and you've been meticulous about trying to get everything right, and you've done some test runs on the ground, that kind of stuff, you have to trust what you've done. There's a point there where you have to trust it and just do it, and that's what happened, and it worked.
When you were talking about your RC and it got off the ground, and it came through my mind, you're crow hopping, right? You're going to crow hop to learn how to get back to the ground, which a lot of us do here in these airplanes, to learn how to get, the feel of the airplane.
For sure, yep.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, and that's I think I have a video out there of my first flight, and and I even recommend it for people that are flying the Zenith. It's a little bit different to fly than well, probably even than the Highlanders and that kind of stuff, but for sure different than the Cessnas that you get training in.
Yes.
The landings, if you're trying to do the short stuff, it's a lot different kind of approach.
Right.
The suggestion is keep airspeed. You're going to come in hot, and it's not going to look great. Right. But to keep from bending something in, just keep the airspeed up where you do have some flare room.
Yes.
This short stuff where you're dragging in on the prop, if you try to do that the first time, it's very likely you're going to bend something.
Right.
And I think that's where the Zenith guys probably have to sell some extra front struts, because people they think they can do it, and they feel like it's just like a Cessna, and they just don't have the transition training that they need.
I was going to say, I mean, it's key for any of these airplanes to get transition training, even if it's, just to get that hurdle of saying, this isn't going to fly like what you're used to.
Absolutely. Even if it's just one or two takeoffs, at least get something.
Exactly right.
Most of the insurance companies, they want you to get 3 or 5 hours or something like that. And I got the 5 in this one. And yeah, I mean, it's expensive to do that. You got 5 hours of training with a certified flight instructor and all that. Right. So it's not free, but it's worth it. It just, if nothing else, just to have someone that's certified and familiar with the plane sitting there beside you to, catch you if you do
absolutely
mess up.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, what you're paying in price for that, you're gaining in safety and operations. You're going to be able to operate this thing for many years.
For sure.
Yeah, this is great. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. And as always, I do appreciate your comments. If you want to share this video with a friend, I like that as well. Until next time, take care.